All right, welcome back to The Edge. Wix versus WordPress. Mueller actually weighs in on that. Google Search Console changes their core web vitals reporting, and there's new Google Search Console associations. You're listening to news from The Edge for the week of February 22nd, 2021, here on Edge of the Web Radio.
From the Edge of the Web studios, here's what we're looking at this week.
This is Edge of the Web Radio. I'm your host, Aaron Sparks from Site Strategics. Every week we bring you amazing guests to chat about digital marketing trends and news items of the week. Each week we're covering SEO and digital marketing news separate from our weekly interview. So you want to check that out. We're getting more and more news to you even more quickly in the week, so you can actually use that to dominate your search and digital marketing presence. Yes, I said that, dominate. So make sure you subscribe to our iTunes channel or whatever podcast aggregator that we're on. We're on all of the aggregators. So if you, I think we're on Player FM, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn. What else we got?
Amazon.
We're on Amazon, absolutely.
Amazon, I forget what they call it. Amazon Podcast.
Yep,
Sure.
We're on all of them. So
You're on my phone.
I am on your phone. I'm watching you right now.
Oh wait.
That's not uncomfortable at all. Be sure to check out all the information that we send over of all our recent shows over at edgeofthewebradio.com. That's edgeofthewebradio.com. This is the Site Strategics Digital Marketing News Desk of Edge of the Web. And joining me this week to get his take on all things digitally newsworthy is Morty Oberstein, the SEO liaison of Wix. How are you doing there, Morty?
I'm good. I didn't know you were into dominating.
Domination, absolutely.
Yeah, you're into that, huh? Yeah, domination.
I see what you're doing there.
Set that up. You fell for it too.
Oh well, I mean, it was a nice softball, and every once in a while,
yeah, you're a good sport.
I truly am. That's about all I can dominate.
That's important for domination.
Oh, I got a joke there. I really do.
I would like to hear it.
We're gonna have to do the B-roll on that one. This is not kid friendly. All right,
wow, it's like 3 seconds in, or off the rails.
Yeah, pretty
good
much.
Stuff.
Pretty much. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate
that's why I'm here.
assist.
That's why I'm here.
Morty, what is going on in your world?
Let's see. My kids are home again because someone in the kindergarten contracted COVID-19.
Okay.
So now my 4-year-old is home, which means we're all quarantining. So they were gone for like 5 days, and now they're all back again.
It's almost like they can't get enough of you, right? Are they so miserable now they're coming home? It's like
no, they're happy. This is sitting around. I'm in a mentally fragile place right now.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
but
don't.
But they're happy.
That's
they're
bait right there. It's Abuse Morty week. Let's go. All right. So anyway, they're happy to be back, but
yes.
it's like the third or fourth or fifth time, right?
I lost count.
Yeah.
I've lost count.
You want us to go take care of that? We can take care of that for you. We can figure out what's going on over at your school and.
I don't know. I'm getting my second dose tomorrow.
Cool.
Yep.
Can you do that live on camera?
Would you like me to?
Well, yeah, sure. Why not? We'll record it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that part of the your thing? You like to see people get stuck with needles?
Oh gosh, it's just. He just makes it.
We do the news.
He makes it all uncomfortable, doesn't he?
It's comfortable for me.
All right. You know what is also uncomfortable? Let's go to our first article. I mean, this is a Morty Oberstein SEO liaison for Wix, but
this is an exclusive. This is an Edge of the Web exclusive.
Absolutely. Wix versus WordPress. Mueller says solve content issues first. Now, Google's John Mueller suggested content issues are more important for small businesses to solve in a discussion of Wix versus WordPress for local SEO. So there was a tweet that John got roped into about creating a test between Wix and WordPress. And in all fairness, Morty certainly does work with and work for Wix, but at no point in time are we talking about there's no relationship. There's no relationship here except some good old-fashioned comparison of platforms, right? I'm going to restate that and then move on.
I'm not biased in any way, shape, or form, even though I'm quoted in the article.
Yeah.
You skipped that part. Where
I
they
did.
quote me.
I did.
Thanks a lot.
With obvious intent to keep the bias to a light degree. But Morty's actually in the article as well. Anyway, the start of this initial tweet was about creating a test between Wix and WordPress. Rob May at Robin L. May tweeted, going to get and build a Wix site and see if I can get ranking in some local city here for SEO related services as a test against WordPress, just to see if it will work. We'll take all appropriate steps, measures for best practices. That's a line right there. That's a little bit odd to say the least. Wonder how that will go. So John stepped into the fracas there, and he immediately started to tweet, test sites can be hard to use as tests. Put the same effort in as you would a real site. Immediately calling out the point of you just can't test a platform against a platform. It's got to have content, and you have to put as much effort and focus into it as if you were doing it on any other platform. That's the only way you could actually test content against content as opposed to platform against platform. And that's the essence of what John was actually going on to say is literally the more small businesses he sees, the fewer he sees with any technical issues, and the more issues lie with the content themselves. Stale, duplicated across multiple sites, incorrect, low quality, etc. CMSs tend to get most technical things right or right enough nowadays. Now, just pause there for a minute before we go further, Morty. Technical SEO has always been trying to get by the numbers, getting every error, every warning, every issue nailed down so we have a perfect score, 99 out of 100, right? Well, what we're hearing here is, and this has been a conversation more and more, it's not about getting your scores right and bean counting your way to technical SEO success. It's really about content, and more of these tweets that I saw just in this article alone. That's the communication that we're getting. It's about the value of your site, not that you have all the dials tweaked for technical SEO, right?
Correct. So I'll say this not as a Wix representative, but as a member of the SEO community for a long time.
Yep.
Technical SEOs will hate me saying this. Technical SEO is very, very important. It's obviously very important. You can block your entire site and you won't be indexed or crawl or nothing, right?
Right.
At the same time, though, it's important to realize that the commodity of your site is not any of the technical aspects of it, whether it be performance or blah, 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 blah. It's the content. That's why people are coming to your site. No one's coming to your site because they want technical optimization X, whether it be, I'm coming to this site because it's super fast.
Right.
They might like that site better because it's super fast, but they're coming for the content, which
Absolutely.
is kind of what John's talking about. I'll give you a good example. Okay, so there's a lot of background to this article, to this story that people don't really necessarily see. I'm freezing. My window's open.
You should use a Mac then.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So okay.
Keep on going.
Let me dial this back a little bit. I've been talking about Wix for a long time on Twitter, a lot lately.
Yep.
There have been numerous tweets like this from John about Wix and other platforms similar in the same direction. This is not the only one. Mm-hmm. This has kind of been a theme that John's trying to get at, I think. And I think it's really important to realize this, that if you're a business owner, and it could be a local business, it could be a small business, it could be a big business. I'll give you a good example. My former employer way back when, I used to work for a property manager company in New York. Mm-hmm. They're a big company. They have a nice website. It is totally screwed up. Okay, because they're not focused on their website. Right. They don't really need it. They're not how they're getting their business. It's a good thing to have. It's a nice thing they have. It's a check mark, right? They have to have a website.
Sure.
Okay, so what you really want is, this is John's point, is that you want to be able to let these business owners, whether it be a large business in this case, or a small business, or whatever kind of business, focus on doing business and creating content and creating value on their website as opposed to worrying about structured data.
Right, right. Absolutely. And it goes along the same veins is stop worrying about keywords on a particular page.
Yeah. Don't
write for keywords, write for your customers. Don't write for search engines, write for the value set of what you can provide a customer. That's what you're saying here.
Yeah. So that's the flip side of this. Because I look at a lot of these sites, by the way, and for the record, and I will say this on the record to Rob's tweet, mm-hmm. So Wix has 200 million users. Most of them, or a large majority of them, have multiple websites. So mm-hmm. you're talking way more than 200 million websites.
Right.
I literally have a giant list of like the top traffic sites. any sites on a CMS or closed CMS, whether it be Wix, whether it be Shopify, can rank, and they can rank very well. There's sort of this like myth out there that if you're working at the closed CMS like Wix, you can't rank. I literally have like huge, like thousands of sites, and it's like it's not like thousands of sites with any traffic. It's thousands of sites that meet a certain traffic criteria.
Okay.
So the idea out there in the industry that you think like, well, I can't rank unless I'm using WordPress is a myth. It's an absolute myth. I don't know where it comes from. It's kind of crazy. Google's come out in the past, and it's not the only time John's talking to me. There's an article from 2017 where he talks about the same thing, right? All these closed CMSs, they rank, blah, blah, blah. What happens is you have SEOs focusing on all the wrong places. Like you have like let's say you have an SMB. They can rank just fine with the platform that they're using, whether it be Wix, whether it be Shopify. I'm not here to sell Wix.
Right.
And inevitably what happens is you get a lot of SEOs focusing on the wrong things about, let's say you have, I don't know, like, oh, you have this problem, you have that technical problem, I would do this, I would do that I want to adjust this, I want to adjust that. And they're not worried about the content itself. And I do see a lot of these sites because, hey, that's kind of what I do. And the content is a problem. Like business owners don't know what to do. Okay, if they're selling cars, they're in the business of selling cars, not writing website content. Mm-hmm. And SEOs would be better served worrying about making sure that content there is good, is useful, it's relevant. You're hitting on all the intents that you want to hit on. Right. You're hitting on all the topics you want to hit on. It's not too thin. It's speaking the right tone versus overly worrying about structured data or robots.txt file, something like that.
Well, I'll double down on this and say, what we're seeing here, and the overuse, this myth that is constantly perpetuated that WordPress is the only way to rank, is because WordPress, that CMS was the first true CMS that was so easy for anyone to get into, and there are so many web companies that spun that up, and then they said, hey, lo and behold, we can use this plugin and this plugin to be able to do our SEO. So they're indelibly tied to the CMS because they have these easy plugins to use, which by and large really don't do that much if you're trying to create good, valuable content. Yeah, there's a little bit of polishing, but there's this echo chamber of using our own plugins, right? That are
correct.
Remember, what was it? SEO. What was it? There was an SEO plugin that was so commonly used before Yoast actually nailed it shut, all-in-one SEO or something like that. And it was a plugin that everybody was having, and you see all these plugins that you inherit from other they come to do business with you, and you see all these old plugins, and you just see, yeah, this was a developer that had no idea what they were doing because that thing was a piece of garbage to a particular degree. So you just see that there was this perpetuation of, hey, this is easy stuff to do, and then we can charge SEO rates as opposed to writing good content, knowing your market, knowing what your consumer's actually looking for. That's hard work. It's not about technical SEO.
It's very hard.
It's about getting the right content to the consumers that you're trying to, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it's all about. I'll give you a good example. Like, so Shopify, you can edit the robot.txt file.
Yeah.
Okay? Mm-hmm. With Wix, you can. And that's wonderful, and SEOs like the ability to customize these things.
Right.
But for your average site, if you can't edit that robot.txt file, is it like going to make that big of a difference? Is Shopify doing that bad of a job with it? Where it's like having a huge impact on your site?
Right. Probably not. Absolutely.
Probably not. But sometimes, yeah, it might be, and you want to have that option. I get it.
But it's not going to block any of your content. I mean,
no, most likely not.
And on top of that, robots.txt is also a hint as opposed to a mandate anymore. So that also tells you what, I mean, and that was an announcement 2 years ago from Google, right? Is that they're moving
And I'll tell you, yeah, and the fact that Wix does edit it, it's a big deal, right? Mm-hmm. But how many times are you really going to go in there and mess around with it? So I'm not saying like it's not a bad thing that we have it customizable, but I'm saying is that really make or break it?
No, it's not a silver bullet any way, shape, or form. So
so it's become this thing. Well, it's the second you tell somebody or you tell an SEO you can't do X, so that psychologically becomes a problem in a way.
Right.
Where if you fundamentally, what John's getting at is there needs to be, and this I think is okay. Let's take us out of the CMS thing for a second. I think what John's getting at is equity. There needs to be search marketing equity. That a small business or a big business or whoever it is shouldn't need to feel that they have to hire a slew of SEOs or an SEO agency in order to be able to rank well. They need to have a content strategy. You need to be able to point them. Maybe they need a consultant for a couple of times. You point in the right direction, create your content, and go.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. What John says in one of the additional tweets, what I recommend to small businesses is never self-host, avoid plugins. That's interesting.
Yes.
Buy your domain name. Use a simple and reliable platform. Simple and reliable. Use two-factor authentication and have 2+ people internally who can update your site's content and get local SEO help. What did he lead with? He led with, well, don't host yourself. I mean, you're an idiot if you're hosting your own site. But I probably shouldn't say that to an audience because I'm sure there's some self-hosters out there. So anyway, use a simple...
You're either an idiot or a genius.
Use a simple and reliable program and don't use plugins. So right there is a huge key into them not really looking that much into technical SEO, but make it fast, make it simple, right? Uncomplicated things. If you come across websites that have 40+ plugins, right?
And then they break and you don't know what to do because you're not an SEO professional. You sell shoes.
Exactly.
You're a real estate firm.
Right. So it's the content first. It always has been. We just get ourselves into a heck of a lot of eddies and whirlpools talking about a particular technique or availability of editing that is or is not on a particular CMS. Stay away from those arguments. Go into it with content first. The value of the content as it applies to the consumer in question. That should be always the Rosetta Stone of how we do content marketing, right?
Yeah. Yep. I mean, look, it's a pattern. Look at passage ranking. Again, Google's trying to reward people who are not doing SEO on their sites. Right? Imagine, hey, my last point. Really sorry. But no. But like take GMB. Okay, Google's investing a lot of money in GMB. They want it to be it is a big product. They want it to be a place where you can feel that you're going to have added value to your business.
Right.
Okay, so that's the message. Added value to your business. So you say, okay, Google My Business, great, wonderful, but I can't actually do anything with it unless I get optimized by an SEO. So I'm not really adding any value to my business. Now I got to go spend more money. If Google wants something like Google My Business to really take off, there has to be some kind of search marketing or search equity where they don't have to feel they have to spend tons of money on SEO, which as SEOs, we don't want to hear.
Right. Absolutely not. It's counterproductive. Yeah, sure you could do it yourself, but you're not going to be able to do it well.
Right. But by the way, I think it's if this is where Google's going, which kind of makes sense, this whole idea of search equity, then roll with it. Like sites are still going to need consulting. They're still going to need to know what to do with their content. They're still going to know, and they're going to need to understand things strategically.
Right. No, absolutely.
So add value.
They're just lessening the impact of technical SEO. Does that mean that you don't get points in your favor if you've got all that nailed down? No, absolutely not.
Of course.
But it's the factor of content and value that is truly eclipsing everything. Okay, you've persuaded me. I used to be in that technical SEO camp for the longest time, and now I'm a convert. Now, Morty, I'm now in the
winner. Winner. When are you going to get circumcised? Now that you've converted.
Moving on. So that was an article from Roger Monti. We're going to talk to Matt Southern. Matt Southern is the editor of this next article. Google Search Console changes core web vital reporting. Google's making a slight change on how core web vitals are actually measured and reported in Search Console. Going forward, the metrics are defining the boundaries for largest contentful paint, LCP, first input delay, FID, and cumulative layout shift, CLS, are now actually being defined as less than or equal to. So that's probably some way inside baseball, guys. And if you haven't looked at your core web vitals, first and foremost, go over to Google Search Console. You're going to be able to see a nice little heart monitor there, which is the Google Core Web Vitals breakout. So you can actually see how Google is rating your content based on performance, right? It's not just the mobile side of things. It's actually the performance of how quickly and timely you can get your content to your user on average, and when's the first load time, the first contentful paint on the site. All these things are metrics of performance, and that's much more important right now than technical SEO standpoint. So on screen, we actually have the breakdowns there. Largest contentful paint, the time it takes for a page's main content to load. The ideal LCP measurement is less than or equal to 2.5 seconds. First input delay, the time it takes for a page to actually become interactive, and the ideal measurement is less than or equal to 100 milliseconds. And the cumulative layout shift, the amount of unexpected layout shift of visual page content, the ideal measure is less or equal to 0.1. All right, so look at your GSC data of Core Web Vitals and see where your site's working and successful or failing in that, because that's where you need to do some surgery to be able to improve these scores. These scores do have a direct SEO effect. And if you're not paying attention to your Core Web Vitals in today's environment, you're not paying attention to a key factor of SEO success. All right, there's the long and short of that article. They've changed up it a little bit to be able to report a different way of reporting the Web Vitals. But what are your thoughts? We just talked about SEO or SEO content being a huge factor, Morty, and I didn't want to go back over to my technical SEO roots, but this is really...
Is it? Or is it? Or is it? For me, first, this is great. You now it's and or equal to. It doesn't have to be less than. So if you're really on that border there, you've nailed it. This is good for you.
Yeah, exactly. If you're at 2.5, you're no longer feeling shamed. Right?
You were just like right there. You were at equal to. Now you pass.
I'm
now
sensing
you
a bit
pass
of sarcasm in his response here. I don't know what's going on.
I just like the fact that, like, this is like a hot thing. Like, all right, now we're equal to. I wonder, like, how many sites are like really on that border. Like before, I was failing Core Web Vitals because I was at equal to.
Right.
But let me go back to your original point. Is this an SEO issue? Now, I understand it impacts SEO. I understand that it could theoretically impact rank in a very significant way.
Right.
Particularly if you're in a very competitive niche and there's a lot of relevant content out there. This could be the tiebreaker.
Right.
Okay. Now, how do you fix LCP?
Yeah.
I hear crickets. I hear crickets. Because
you got to work on the site. You got to work on the site and be able to work on what's all the plugins that are being loaded up. You got to jettison as much as you can to be able to
and those hero images and all that good stuff.
Right. It's still
developers. This is developers' world. Let's be honest.
Absolutely. Check your waterfall. Check all the load time of everything.
Oh, yeah.
But the point is, it's about the consumer's engagement and the value there.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it's I think I like Core Web Vitals. I think it makes a lot of sense. It's all about the UX, right? It's all about the user experience.
That's right.
But what I think we're SEO, we're going to monitor it. We're going to check it. You got to fix this. But then when you actually go, I'm wondering what's going to happen when, like, all right, it's May, got to fix LCP, but they really want that hero image up top. I don't know what to do. I got to get developer buy-in now.
Yep.
Good luck.
Developer and marketing buy-in, because
Yeah, and there's a lot of trade-off here because everyone wants that big, that big image up at top, right?
Yep.
And I'm not saying you can have it in past LCP, but it certainly makes it a little bit more complicated depending upon how you've structured it. And I only know this because I talk to developers all the time about this. By the way, when you talk to a developer about this, you get a whole different education about what this is, how it works, and how complicated it is to fix. So I'm very curious how this plays out.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a thing to know about, but the practicality of actually working it to a substantial reduction, and you have to have developer focus. And going back to our previous conversation, WordPress with all the plugins in the world, as soon as you get more and more plugins in there, it's even more difficult to then try to break away and reduce your overarching load, because they all have their different scripts, their different pulls of data and rendering. And then you deal with rendering blocks that are happening from plugins that you have no idea where that block is happening. I mean, there's so many rabbit holes to go down when you're in a WordPress environment. Yeah, you got to.
It's in both. It's closed CMS. We have our own problems. Yep. WordPress, you have your own problems. Everybody's got problems with this. Yep. CLS seems to be a little bit easier to handle because, all right, we'll take away some of the elements on the page so they don't shift because they're just not there. But then you have the conversion aspect of it.
Exactly. And then you're talking to marketing and sales. Is that okay? If that So CLS, perfect example would be as soon as you do an on scroll, right, all of a sudden something else moves on the page, gets in front of the user. It could very well be an interstitial, could very well be some sort of slide in or pop up to be able to.
A button, whatever.
Absolutely, but it moves, and that's what we're actually getting measured against. How much actually moves on that page, as opposed as soon as interaction starts to happen. That's also a factor that's weighing negatively against you. Well, marketing certainly wants to have that pop up, that particular banner as evident as possible, because there's lead flow right there, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah,
It's
you're
really
talking you're talking to a lot of people whenever you start really having to dig in and core out, pun intended, some of the problems in Core Web Vitals, right?
Should be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm curious. I don't have a prediction. I'm just curious how it plays out.
I'm thinking that there's going to be so many scenarios that people just try to avoid that because it's too darn difficult.
I think fundamentally speaking, I think you're right. I think it's going to be like, all right, well, what do we do now? Because we can't actually do this.
Right.
And I'm curious to see how it goes.
Yep. All right. Well,
Can I show you a problem?
You can.
Core Web Vitals?
Yes, please show us a problem.
This is a tweet I saw this morning, and I've been hunting this whole time. I have no idea what you guys are talking about because I had to find this to show you. Someone pointed out that web.dev/vitals
Okay.
Does not pass the Core Web Vitals assessment.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've done this. I've done a bunch of Google pages. Their travel website is really bad. The Google/travel, whatever it is. Yeah, they got a lot of problems.
Whoops.
Physician, heal thyself. Is that?
Hey, look. Okay, there's one set of rules for us, and there's one set of rules for Google, and there's a different set of rules for Bing because they don't have any problems like this because no one uses them.
Oh my Lord! Hey, we so like sorry. Being out there.
I can't help myself. I don't know what it is about me.
Oh my gosh, you are in a rare mood today, sir.
I told you, mentally fragile. Mentally fragile.
So we start swinging everywhere
like a madman.
All right, take a break here for a quick second. We want to make sure that you know that we have our continued sponsor over here at Edge. That's Ahrefs. Ahrefs is a fantastic tool set to be able to analyze your competitors, see how they're ranking, why they're getting the traffic that they're getting from Google and Bing. You can see the pages, the content that send them the most traffic, as well as extract the keywords that they rank on, and see what backlinks are actually helping them rank. From there, you can actually replicate and improve on their strategies. So if you're not getting significant search traffic, you use the tools that they have there to jump in and start getting an analysis and on your site, understanding your link profile, the authority that you have in the marketplace, so you can start creating a better profile and connect to the users that you're trying to get in front of. So you can use features like their top pages report to break down which of your pages are actually bringing the most traffic, then figure out how you can replicate this for your own success. So check that all out over at ahrefs.com today. That's ahrefs.com. And you can start a trial 7 days for $7 over there. Again, a long-term sponsor for the show. We certainly appreciate their loyalty and connection. And we use them on a regular basis here over at Site Strategic. So check them out. You'll swim in great data just like we do at our shop. All right. Last article, back into the fracas here with Morty here from Barry Schwartz over at Search.
Barry.
I'm not going to sing along.
Help myself.
I know you. Well, I mean, you even threw it in the show notes, man. It's just like, oh my gosh.
I know. That's why when I put it in the right bag, because nothing to do with Barry Schwartz. It's Barry Bonds. Barry.
I just call him the B-Man now.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah. Got to give some sort of tip of the hat so he can give us a shout out every once in a while. We're talking about him every freaking week. All right. So from Search Engine Land, new search, Google Search Console Associations. Google announced a new feature in Search Console, just like we were talking about on our last story, named Associations. Associations let you connect your Search Console account with other Google accounts, such as YouTube, Google Analytics, Android apps, and much more. In fact, on screen, we have a whole slew of what can be associated to your Google Analytics property, view your Search Console data, such as organic search queries in your Google Analytics property. You can actually search, you can link from Search Console to the domain properties to Analytics, as opposed to vice versa that you had to do inside of GA. You also have Google Ads that you can connect, YouTube, Play Console, Action Console, as well as Chrome Web Store. So why are they doing this? Morty, tell me
so
what
they can say we offer omni-channel marketing.
Ooh,
buzzword.
I'm saying.
Buzzword alert.
Ding, 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 ding.
Nice. I don't know. I just connected this like 3 seconds. By the way, I only saw you added the show notes like 3 minutes before I signed on. Yeah. And I connected my GA to my Search Console, and since I'm connected, I don't see anything different. I don't feel any different.
Well,
but the idea makes sense.
The idea is to have. Don't you think they already know? That's my first question.
Well, yeah, they know. Come on, like they're not stupid. They know everything.
But it just confirms it.
It confirms it, and you're connecting all.
They do things like this that make it feel like, oh, we didn't know.
Yeah,
but now we do.
You had a YouTube account? Who knew?
Correct. Well, they're just they're catching up to the SEO tools here a little bit. Who've been doing this for a long time.
Absolutely. So do you think they have to pay for their API connections to their other properties?
Ooh. That'd be scandalous.
It would be, wouldn't it?
That'd be just like paying for news results in Australia.
Ooh, ouch. That's a burn.
Yeah,
you couldn't make it. You just couldn't go 1 week without bringing it up.
Nope.
Couldn't do it.
No, it went last week. Last week went without it. It was an off week.
It was. I don't know why.
I'm sure it was mentioned. Maybe it was before.
Oh no, we didn't. We didn't mention it.
I was feeling down under, but
Ooh.
All right. So
it makes sense. It's good. I mean, it would really be interesting for somebody to get this right, where you can really understand your performance across the entire web.
Well, the entire Google web. I want
right. I'm saying it'd be great if you could. It'd be great if someone can get this right and do your entire web presence.
Right.
This is good for Google.
Yeah, let's have some link connections to Bing. Is that going to ever be able to play? Can't we have search equity truly right across the board here?
Just talk to your sponsor.
I don't think they'll play. Maybe we can get Google as a sponsor. How about that?
Well, they can bring in the reports. You have your share a voice report, whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. All right. Anyway, plug in everything because Google says so. How about that?
Fair.
All right. So this week on SEO Chat, hashtag SEO Chat's happening every Thursday at 1 p.m. What's happening this week, Morty?
Garrett Sussman is talking about Google Posts.
Cool. Google Posts.
Google Posts. The posts in the local.
Oh yeah, GMB posts. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, GMB posts. Yep, which I would think Google would like to double down on a little bit because they are their version of social media.
Absolutely, it's the only one in town nowadays.
It's the only one in town. Which, by the way, you did not show up last week. I will shame you. I will shame you.
I think you've done enough shaming on the show today.
Hey, swing in like a wild man. I'm not around this week, by the way, so you can show up if you want.
Fantastic. We're there.
Yeah, there you go. 1 p.m. Eastern Time Thursday.
I just added it to my calendar.
Thank you. You guys are real pals.
Where are you going to be, man? Where are you going to be? What's going on?
Oh, it's the start of Jewish St. Patty's Day.
Okay.
No, for real. Yeah. It's called Purim. It's where we all get drunk.
Oh, my gosh.
Fire our space lasers.
Green space lasers.
Correct.
All right, so we want to make sure that everybody joins. The SEO Chat's happening each and every week, 1 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays, and there's a number of different hosts. Morty jumps in there on a regular basis, but check out and have a good conversation with SEOs around the world. They jump into this on a regular basis, and certainly, there's other hashtags out there, but this one is the SEO Chat, right?
Hey, it's grassroots, no sponsors. Great people show up. Alan Blywice, Bill Slosky, Carolyn Light, and myself. A lot of great people, a lot of good things happening, a lot of ins and outs, a lot of what have yous.
There we go. All righty. Well, that's it for this week. We wish you all the best and be safe, Morty.
Thank you.
Don't shoot any space lasers without due cause, okay?
There's always cause to shoot a space laser.
It is absolutely true. Be sure to actually check out our Craig Campbell segment 1 interview this week, and be sure to like and comment and let us know how we're doing on the show on a regular basis. And go over to the YouTube channel and check it out, and you'll see when our videos come up as well. From all of us over at Edge of the Web, stay safe, stay well, and do not be a piece of savage driftwood. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.